Yeah, 'cause you went to Thorpe Park the other day, didn't you?
I
Like
did,
briefly.
and it was yeah, very briefly. We left
Briefly.
after like 3 hours. Like we were like, yeah, we've had enough of that. I don't think we have been to Fort Park many times, so it's not like oh, it's the first time we'd been there and we were horrified. We've been on all those rides, so it's not
Yeah.
as exciting for us. But yeah, first theme park we've been to in a couple of years, and it was just like, oh yeah, the UK parks aren't very good. I remember now. I remember
Oh
what this
yeah.
is like.
Now I get it. Now I remember
Yeah.
why I don't go often.
Yeah, this is why we started going to Europe a lot more than we went
Hmm.
to the English ones.
Yeah, that was like before everything hit with the pandemic. That was your main sort of. That was one of your main sources of content, wasn't it? Like theme parks and related content like
Yeah,
that.
that was always the idea. Like that was a big part of the reason I went for Geeky Pastimes to name it. I was like trying to think of something that would kind of
Mm.
cover roller coasters and video game stuff. And you know, the idea was start the channel and have kind of an equal balance of theme parks and video games. And then you know, pandemic hit, and it's like, well, can't go
Yeah.
outside anymore, so just video games it is.
Yeah.
But hopefully we'll get back. I just had my second vaccination yesterday. Me and my wife both fully vaccinated now. So as soon as they start lifting restrictions on places that have theme parks, because
Mm.
Portugal doesn't, we'll get going.
Ah, awesome, awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
I was actually going to go Thorpe Park actually yesterday, but ended up not happening in the end because it was with a few
You missed
people,
out.
and then it didn't. It just the plan fell apart essentially.
Yeah.
But
It's so busy and it's so
Mm.
hot at the moment. Being in Fort Park when it's busy and hot is not the way to go.
yeah, at least now I know I didn't exactly miss much.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but sort of coming on from that, I know you said that you wanted it to be an equal balance of theme parks and video games. How did you actually sort of get off the ground? Like, how did you actually start out with content? So was that the idea from the get-go?
No, so like years ago, like I mean, looking back sort of 2016, I've always been like, so I'm an English teacher, like that's my actual job. So I've got an English degree, and I always wanted to get more into writing. So I used to run a website called TP Review, which is a terrible name because everyone's like, "What you review toilet paper?" And so, never mind. But I used to do game reviews and stuff. So I started building like a tiny bit of a name for myself there. You know, I'd start going to events, get some interviews and stuff. Got free copies of games, which was fun. And then I got, not through a developer, I got an early copy of No Man's Sky when that came out. So I managed to get that a week early. And it wasn't from doing the website. It was just, I ordered it from a website that happened to send it early, like a shop, you know, just shopping website, sent it early. And so I got it early and I was like, okay, let's give it a go streaming. Like I'll try that out. And I streamed it on YouTube. And weirdly, a few other people got sent it early. Everyone who streamed on Twitch got their stream shut down by Sony, like immediately. But they didn't shut any of them down on YouTube because 2016, not many people were streaming on YouTube.
Yeah.
So I was like the only place to go to watch No Man's Sky content for the first weekend before it came out, and ended up with like literally like 3,000 viewers. So I'd gone from having nobody watch me to my first weekend streaming having 3,000 viewers, and it was insane. You know, I was getting like donations and I was getting people following, those people talking about me. It was like super exciting. And then like after No Man's Sky came out, I couldn't ever keep that going again. Like I didn't have another game to move on to. You know, the No Man's Sky hype died down a little bit, obviously, because people didn't really like the game that much when it first came out.
Yeah.
And then I didn't really stick with that. And yeah, I started seeing like my streams where I only had like a couple of viewers. You know, it was rubbish. It had gone down because all the people who followed me were just for No Man's Sky. So eventually I just packed that in. I just sort of got bored of it, decided to focus on work and stopped doing that. And then a couple of years ago, I started thinking like I kind of want to get back into it, so I started Geeky Pastimes. Started off actually streaming Animal Crossing, weirdly. We're streaming Animal Crossing to just kind of, you know, my sister-in-law would watch it, and a couple of my friends who had Animal Crossing would watch. Had like I remember trying to keep my free viewer average up to get affiliate on Twitch. Like that was a massive deal. Like getting affiliate, like streaming for what is it, 28 days or something, and having an average of free viewers is weirdly hard.
Yeah. Like I know that I talk. Yeah, I know that I talk about this. I remember talking about in a previous episode. Is like affiliate in today's age. Affiliate is essentially like the starting line. The affiliate acts as more like a spam filter than it does a milestone. But I think when you were doing it, it's bigger of a deal.
I mean, no. I mean, this is still only a year ago. This is like I only started on Twitch a year ago. Yeah. I've only been going. It was March last year. But it was like it was weird to go from like nobody knowing who you are. And weirdly, I was going through some of my old tweets earlier, and I was tweeting for months and no replies, no likes, no retweets, nothing. And it was kind of, I don't know how I coped with it. How I coped with just like nobody ever hearing what I had to say, nobody watching me stream, nobody doing anything.
Yeah.
And then it wasn't until Warzone came out, and that was a big deal. And I was kind of part of the effort to solve the first Easter egg. I wasn't like the main person to do it. I wasn't the first person into Bunker 11, but I was like helping. I was like organizing spreadsheets and doing stuff. And then I put up one of the first YouTube guides on how to do it. And then from then on, it was like, oh, actually, people are paying attention to this. Like, people like this. And I've always been into Battle Royale games. So from then on, I've just sort of taken that more and more seriously. And now here I am, you know, with like being Twitch partner. And now, you know, I was just streaming a little bit of Outbreak earlier and had like 50 people watching. I was like, how has this come about? Like, I'm like streaming at 4 o'clock in the afternoon and there's like 50 people tuning in to watch me. It's crazy. It feels super weird.